Hey y'all, I'm Aeon.
And I'm the Lioness.
And you're listening to Box number 512 podcast.
Grown Black Trans Woman Talk. Changing your world one conversation at a time.
The show begins now. Hey, welcome
Hey,
to another
y'all.
installment of Box number 512 podcast. I am your co-host Aeon.
And I'm the Lioness.
So let's start with updates. I will go first. So I had a lovely Valentine's Day 3/President's Day weekend. Although I did not have a Valentine. I don't think I've ever had a Valentine since our transition.
Mm-hmm.
This year, considering all the circumstances, I'm in a much better place emotionally. I think I started my meds last week, my psych meds. So like
Oh, wonderful.
I'm in a way better mood. But I had a good Valentine's Day, even though I didn't have, well, I'm not gonna say I didn't have anybody to share it with because I had some company in the days before Valentine's Day, and then I had my little company after Valentine's Day. But as far as love and somebody, I don't have anybody like that romantically in my life. But I was able to talk to my mom and just had share space with my mom. Also, shout out to Shia Diamond, who organized a room for the trans women on Clubhouse. So I was up all night the night before Valentine's Day, talking shit on Clubhouse with the other ladies. And I went to sleep for a little bit and I woke up and we got back in the room and I just thanked her for creating a space just for us as single trans women to come together and just love on each other and just kind of distract because Valentine's Day can be triggering for trans women, especially if you haven't had a whole bunch of great romance experiences. So, but I'm glad that we were able to come together and just be on in sisterhood and key and love on each other. Also, shout out to y'all who came through to my single heart celebration on Instagram Live. That was a success, in my opinion. We keyed, we listened to music. I drank a whole bottle of wine. I got my life. And I'm thinking about doing something every Sunday where we just get on live and listen to music and drink and just have a good time and just enjoy each other's company. So I don't have a formal name for it. I just want to get on and just curate a vibe and just listen to music. So thank y'all for those of y'all who came and commented and came on camera and interacted. I had a good time, honey. I had a good time. And shout out to all of the trans couples on Valentine's Day and all of that. I hope to have a Valentine soon. I feel some love energy coming into my life. There's been a lot of men putting their bid in. I just want somebody that's consistent, and I want a man of action. I want a man with a plan who's going to say, I want to do this. I want to take you out. I want to see. I need a man with a plan. So I'm manifesting that into my life, and we will see what happens. Sis, what are your updates?
Well, I want to say, first of all, shout out to the man with the plan. Shout out to the man with the plan. I don't know who he is, but you're going to have quite a
Neither do I.
You're going to be quite a lucky young man. But to that point, so my week since we last talked has been fine. Very, very hectic. I'm doing a lot of community work lately, and so it's been a lot. It's been a lot, managing a lot of new personalities and new people, and just excited to be out and again and engaging with girls, but just processing also like now that you're engaging, what does it look like to deal with other people's mental health, and just remembering also to check in on myself. So that's been something. But other than that, just like, but besides what I do, the work part of life and the stuff that we doing, to move on in life, I'm just been relaxing. I mean, COVID kind of makes things this revolving cycle. So you don't really get a lot of variation in your day. And so then I've been trying to do more working out. I have been eating healthier. to that point, for those of you who will be watching, I have this wonderful salad that my husband prepared with some chicken here, and I will be trying to eat because I'm trying to eat healthier for the new year. Just not even for weight loss or vanity, just on some. I didn't like that. My doctor mentioned that my blood pressure might have been a little elevated the last time, and it's not something. She said it's something we're gonna monitor. But in the meantime, a bitch is like, okay, well, we're gonna change these eating habits. Like
Right.
maybe one too many wings during the COVID. So let me pull back. So I've been trying to be a little healthier. Other than that, shit. Just kind of fucked up about how the world's going. This weather has been a mess. I know yesterday down here in Atlanta, it was in the 20s and it was like wintry mix weather. It was kind of crazy, especially particularly because we're not really used to handling that. But yeah, just my heart is out for. I have some friends and acquaintances that are in Texas, and so just shout out to everyone in Texas that I know and love. I've been thinking about you. Trump was acquitted, bitch. And that kind of, not that I didn't think it would happen, but I was just surprised about how many Republican senators were told the line, and then the backlash for the other senators that that did actually do their civic duty and vote to impeach this man. So yeah, my week has been fine. Other than that, just
What did you do for Valentine's Day, girl?
oh right, that well, it was a busy. I had a lot of work, kind of workish kind of things to do, and so
Okay.
I wasn't. I really wasn't. I really didn't do a lot for Valentine's Day. I did have sex, and I did drink wine, and I did watch a movie with my boo, and that's all I could pretty much get in because I was swamped that weekend.
Yes, honey. Let the people know you got love in you, because the people was asking for you on the live. I said she's with her man, honey. She's a married woman.
Oh
Honey.
yes. Now
Valentine's
he was a
Day.
little heated, and I think now this is where we have to work on, ladies. For those of you out here who do have men, work life balance is a real thing, and so now that I'm pushing more towards my goals in life and my objectives, I find myself not being as present for him as I would like to be. And I think even though he was so great, now for Valentine's Day in the morning, he made me breakfast in bed. Then he made lunch, and then he also cooked dinner. But in the meantime, I was so busy working and on calls and managing what I do that I completely, wasn't able to be as present for him as I would have liked. And that kind of made me feel bad. And even though he's a good sport and he didn't complain, I don't want to, I have to remember that going forward, I want to, because I felt guilty. It wasn't even something that he said, but I just know, I just want to be, he's a good man. And I want to be really, really better about being there for him on special occasions because he's always very much there for me. And usually I am, but I just felt a little guilt this year.
Well, girl, every day is a new opportunity to get it right, honey. And
Exactly.
so that actually ended faster than I thought it would. So we don't really have a topic for today. We're just going to try in the spirit of keep. Oh, before I get into the topic, we're trying to work on a bonus video for our Patreon listeners for the month of February. I'm thinking I want to do a video detailing one of my relationships from earlier in my transitions from the early 20s, so I can just tell you about that story, which does have a beginning, middle, and the end. So please be on the lookout for that. I want to try to. We gotta coordinate our schedules, but I want to try to get that out at least by, if not this weekend, next Monday. So just be on the lookout for that for all of our Patreon users. If you are a level 3 Patreon user, which costs $10 a month, one of the perks is that you get access to bonus episodes that will only be on Patreon. So we did not forget about you guys on Patreon.
Also, I liked what you said earlier, just touching back on something you mentioned earlier, sis. I like the idea of us doing the Sunday wine mix or whatever we're going to call it. Just us getting together and kind of like socializing and being cute and us getting on the call and having a moment. And I shout out to the listeners that were thinking about the Lioness, and we thought it was very appropriate that the single lady on our podcast have an opportunity on Valentine's Day to represent for the singles. But I do think it's a wonderful idea going forward that we do this podcast. I mean, we do this Sunday fun day, whatever we call it, where we kind of socialize. Because I do think the podcast could benefit from seeing us in like our club, laughy, jokey, kind of high, that kind of way.
Right, right.
So.
So getting to the main topic of today's show, I want us, well, not me, because I wasn't there, but I am intrigued and I'm enthralled by this topic. I want you, Lioness, to educate the girls and take the girls back to the Darlingtons.
Yeah, so y'all, just to give a little context.
And take your time.
Production meeting. I'm glad I have some blunts roll for this journey. In our pre-production meeting, guys, we talked about how she said she was going to surprise me with the topic. Well, I can take off these earrings then, girl, because this is the Darlingtons. I was like, this is, I should have gave y'all a little more ratchet fish. But the Darlingtons, and it's a part of my life that has been very, very interesting. For those of you who don't live in Atlanta, the Darlingtons is an apartment complex that pretty much is all studios. There may be an occasional 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom, but it's a former office building that was converted into kind of like, or it may have even been a hotel that was converted into a apartment complex. So think old building. So think old antique building, like old furnishings from an era of a time gone by. Think like really antique old furnishings in what looked to be like an old antique hotel lobby. This is now it was, the Darlington is still existence. And as far as I know, I heard that they were bulldozing it, but as far as I know, last I seen, it was still in existence and it's on.
Didn't they kick everybody out of the Darlingtons?
Huh?
Didn't they kick everybody out?
See, I've heard stories of it, but then again, I still see the building. So I don't know what the state of the building is, but I'm just saying the building is still there. Anyway, I used to live in the Darlingtons. I've done several stints. So this building is on Piedmont, on Peachtree Street, not too far from the intersection of Peachtree and Piedmont. Think Justin's, think Piedmont Hospital, right in there. There's a CVS. Everybody that has ever done a stint in the Darlington, you know what I'm talking about. So this area, the reason why I give that location is because it's not too far from the Strolls, the boy beat or the girl beat. It's not too far from the healthcare providers. Matter of fact, it's walking distance to Aid Atlanta and all of the like LGBT health providers. It's in Buckhead, not too far from Midtown. So if you can get on a bus, you can get to 10th Street like that. If you want to get to want to go to the train station, you go to Art Center and you're already there. So for those of you who know, this is the prime real estate in Buckhead. The homes in that area are millions of dollars. The businesses in that area, the rental spaces are hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. We're talking a really high-end area, and amongst all of this grandeur and beauty is this old slum-ass Darlington, honey, and this rundown building. And so another thing about the Darlington is the building you rent used to be, when I started going to the Darlington at first, the rent was $525 a month. You couldn't beat that. Even back in the early thousands, you could not beat $525 a month in Buckhead. You couldn't beat that with a stick. And then gradually they went up and up and up. I think the last time I was at the Darlingtons, we were paying $7 something, $725, $750. I wasn't paying it, another nigga was. The Darlington also was notoriously loose on their paperwork. Long as you had your money, bitch, them applications was going through. And they didn't require that you had to do a lot of background verification. Like, as far as, because they kind of ran like a hotelish in a way that they would just let you pay rent, like you could pay, they would verify your ID and that you were that you were okay to rent, that you were of age, but they didn't necessarily go into like the deep rental history. They had very high application deposits. And then that's just how it was. You just paid the high ass deposit. They ran.
So were you only allowed to pay your rent in cash or?
No. You could pay your rent in all the different ways. As a matter of fact, over the years, they started embracing technology and they had it to where you could pay on the internet.
Oh, wow.
Which was amazing for the stunt queens.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Box Number 512 Podcast, Grown Black Trans Women Talk.
And don't forget to become a patron on the Box Number 512 Patreon page, where we have all new exclusive content.
And also, don't forget to follow us on our social media, on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook pages. And also, become a subscriber on our YouTube page. Until next time, bye.